The boy gambled away all his power fragments, gaining 4 chances to reactivate his power. The first reactivation yielded a useless D-rank power, while the second and third attempts were fatal. Just before his death, under the chanting of the evolution tree, he initiated his final fusion, and it was gold. He was out of the capital. Finally, he was out of the capital. His S-rank power, Flaw, allowed him to transfer 4% of his opponent's attributes with each successful strike, and he would then enhance his own. However, Duan Fei, already halfway to A rank, unleashed his full power without reservation. But the Earth rank Duan Fei wasn't afraid, because with a flaw, his power could shorten the gap between the weak and the strong. Undoubtedly, this was a protracted battle. In the reindeer's eyes, Duan Fei resembled a wolf with an aggressive desire, completely different from before. The warlike reindeer was overjoyed. However, just as both were about to reach their limits, the path of message felt an unprecedented sense of crisis. Then, the opening on his cheek was severed, and the system notification indicated that 4% of the opponent's attributes had been acquired. The reindeer felt the ultimate power, insulting him and causing him to abandon all thought. In contrast, Duan Fei's eyes became incredibly bright. Afterwards, each time Duan Fei hit an opening, his attributes would increase, but the reindeer's dense attacks would make it impossible for him to defend. Just after the reindeer repelled Duan Fei by 100 meters, a glimmer of light flashed in the smoke. A flame swept past the reindeer's ear, followed by a vortex of extreme flames that enveloped and collided around his body, producing a violent reaction and sound. Even so, it couldn't expose any openings on the reindeer. With his swiftness enhanced, the reindeer easily leaped over the fiery net. "Human, your pride and joy. I've seen it all clearly." With one impact, Duan Fei's ribs were broken 4 times. Then, the reindeer grabbed Duan Fei's head. But the next second, Duan Fei seized the opening under his armpit. He completed an attribute theft, then used flames to separate the two. "You're not trying to beat me with those weak punches, are you?" But what the reindeer didn't know was that, in just a few exchanges, 20% of his attributes had already been stolen. However, this was far from enough for Duan Fei to win. If their strength were compared to a full bucket of water and a half-full bucket, Duan Fei had already filled 5% of his tenyu, and his power was greater than before, though his speed was still lacking. With a bang, Duan Fei was slammed to the ground like a sandbag. The reindeer then pulled him back, preparing to deliver a fatal blow. At the critical moment, Duan Fei used intense flames to obscure his vision, then circled around to his back, shattering his weakness once more. Just as the reindeer was about to take flight, Duan Fei transformed into a shadow, lurking underground, then struck his chest, sending him flying into the sky. As he floated, Duan Fei gathered his fiery power. The last sentence appears to be a separate, unrelated thought and is left untranslated. As 4 beams of fiery light shot into the sky, striking the arm, shoulder, thigh, and knee, 4 vulnerable points, the system notified that 44% of the attributes had been stolen. In contrast, the reindeer's base attributes were now only 56%. Duan Fei's base attributes, plus the stolen attributes, far surpassed the reindeer's. It seemed the counterattack was about to begin. In the dust, the reindeer activated its superpower. Reindeer. Intelligence, strength, and speed all increased by 50%. Just as the fist was about to strike Duan Fei, he suddenly vanished. "Human, it's an honor for you to die under my strongest form." When Duan Fei reappeared, his powerful fist slammed into the reindeer's cheek, successfully shattering the attack and sending the strongest reindeer flying hundreds of meters. "You're nothing special, are you?" The reindeer roared in fury, his emotions completely out of control. "A mere Earth-level trash. How could you possibly be my opponent?" Unbeknownst to him, Duan Fei could now easily withstand all of the reindeer's attacks. "I said it's too noisy." With a bang, Duan Fei embedded the reindeer's head into the ground, stealing a total of 52% of its attributes. This humiliating blow finally enraged the reindeer. Duan Fei hadn't expected it to be so tenacious even after stealing half its attributes. The reindeer pried open the ground beneath Duanfei's feet, going into a frenzy. It was in a state of frenzy, but Duanfei had nothing to fear. With the 52% attribute bonus, plus his original attributes, his previously mediocre strength was now as vast and boundless as an ocean. Suddenly, the reindeer appeared behind Duanfei. Even though its claws were sharp enough to cut through the tide, they could never strike Duanfei's body. Even in its reindeer-powered state, it was already at a disadvantage in a contest of strength against Duanfei. Under the watchful eyes of Jinbao and her sisters, a spark of fire in the pool shone as brightly as a star in the night sky. The flames exploded violently in the water, revealing a mangled body. The reindeer never understood why it had lost. Despite its peak strength, it couldn't even budge a mere Earth-level human. The reindeer began to question its existence. Was this kingly figure truly human? Even a lion uses its full strength to hunt a rabbit. You lost because of your pride. I must obtain the original species within you, the reindeer pleaded, lowering its stance. Why don't you join our cataclysmic organization? Our king is about to be resurrected. When the time comes, I'll ask, and he'll definitely make an exception and let you join. This news surprised Duanfei. In his previous life, he thought the original species were already the leaders of the zombies, but he never expected there was a king. With your joining, our cataclysmic organization will surely destroy the Skynet and rule the entire world. Duanfei stroked the reindeer's remaining fur. The devouring power subtly emanated from his hand. Your acting is terrible. He activated the devouring power, and the reindeer felt its life and energy visibly disappearing. Duanfei declared with an air of supreme authority. With me here, even your king will die a miserable death at my hands. The system notification indicated that the attribute transfer due to the target's death had disappeared. Killing the Buddha original species rewarded 20,000 evolution points, and the original species crystal could be extracted. The garden also contained the energy he had absorbed in his previous life. After all the energy was absorbed by the evolution tree, the filtered energy returned to Duanfei's body. An unprecedented tearing sensation erupted in every cell. The energy contained was so immense that his body felt like it was about to explode. Simultaneously with gene recombination, Duanfei let out a heart-wrenching roar. Something Xian you had never seen before. Anya explained, "Don't worry. Sister Xian Yu and Brother Dun always gain a huge power after their roars." The system notification indicated that the original species absorption was complete, and the level had increased to C rank. At this moment, the telekinetic imagery in the ability contract sent an alarm. Had Xia Ku and Li Feng encountered fatal danger?